Hi, today I'm going to talk about climate change, a call for action and sustainable solutions on the Flathead Reservation by Cherish Grassrope. So this is my picture of 5 generations of Salish women. My name is Cherish Grassrope, and I live in Polson, Montana, which is located on the Flathead Reservation on the Confederated and Salish Kootenai tribes. I grew up in the Mission Valley by the Rocky Mountains, by the National Bison Range, and I spent most of my summers at the Flathead Lake or in the mountains at the Chef Ranch cabin up in the South Fork with my grandparents. This is a picture of my 5 generations of women: my grandma Joy Marjo, my great grandma Zelda Marjo, my mom Terry Derglo, me, Cherish Grassrope, and my firstborn daughter, Emmanuelle Lachance. This is 5 generations of Salish women. I have so much love and care for the beautiful nature we have here. I take lots of pictures of the sunsets, the sky, and pay attention to the clouds. Today, I'm going to talk about, we're going to look over some of the data collected on climate change, review my visit I had with CS&K Tribal Climate Change Coordinator Michael Derglo Jr., look at some art projects I completed. I'm going to read a letter to the 7th generation and a local picture slideshow. So this is the CMIP6 data that I looked at that alerted me about the emissions that we're having around this area. They're dangerously high, and with the rapid growing population, it's just getting worse and it's contributing to our global warming. The power plants are the biggest contributors to the greenhouse gas emissions right now, and the power plants produce 12,399.039 metric tons of CO2 and PMT gases. These gases trap heat into the atmosphere, causing global warming. I also looked at our air and the toxins from a 2018 air toxins research analysis, and it says from the EPA that the Lake County birth weights are at a really high rate compared to the national rate or just the state rate, and this is just for Lake County on the Salish Kootenai Reservation. The toxins and the air pollutants that are in the air, there's a 50% of formaldehyde pollutant that's in the air, and these pollutants can cause cancer and low birth weights and birth defects. I also looked at like where our EPA water monitoring stations are, looking at our water to make sure it's monitored and looking at where people can dump their toxins in. And this is showing the greenhouse gas emissions in the state of Montana, and it shows that the majority is from petroleum and natural gas systems. So my project scope, I decided my goal is to decrease emissions and combat climate change. Simple actions like using refillable water bottles, home water filters, and avoiding plastic shopping bags and water bottles can make a significant impact on saving the climate for future generations. I talked with climate change coordinator Michael Derglo Jr. at the Confederated Salish Kootenai tribes. For over a decade, Mike has worked with climate change and solutions and strategies and preservation. Mike has given presentations in Washington, D.C. about the impacts on climate change, received recognition and awards for his work in leadership in climate change. I asked Mike about what he thought about the rapid greenhouse emissions and the climate changes on the Flathead Reservation. Mike's working on a way for us to go all solar power through our housing units. The problem is funding. We need assistance to be available for low-income families who don't qualify for high-interest loans to also qualify for solar funding for their homes. I asked Mike what our ancestors used to pack water, and he said they used animal bladder, buffalo bladder. that's 100% biodegradable. Today, people use plastic water bottles that take 1,000 years to photodegrade. Why do we keep using plastic shopping bags and plastic water bottles if it's so bad for the environment? Convenience. Growing up, Mike didn't need a water bottle. I could drink water out of the Mission Creek. Today, that would make you sick, Mike said. Currently, we are on the worst drought yet. This year, the Flathead Lake was at a record low, the Kerr Dam being one of the biggest factors disrupted by this drought. In Flathead Lake, recent water samples have shown plastic particles, E. coli, and pharmaceuticals, according to Mr. Dirklow. It takes 1,000 years for a water bottle to dispose. The plastic used for water bottles is called photodegradable, which means that it takes a long time for it to go back into the earth, other than biodegradable. And then the plastic particles are really bad for the environment. It takes 2 times the energy to use a water bottle than it would to get some water from a tap. You could fill a water bottle like 25% of the way, and that's how much oil it would take to make that water bottle. Every second, 1,000 people open a water bottle. Each day, 6 million water bottles are either thrown in the trash, landfills, or streets in our waterways. Going forward, stop using plastic shopping bags and plastic water bottles. It's costing more for the industry to recycle water bottles and the plastic that we use for our grocery bags than it is for industries to produce more. The industry is just producing more, and we, the consumers, keep buying more. The plastic used has only a one-time life use and is hard to recycle. I asked Mike about this, and I went over the facts that I found about water bottles and the impact that it's having on our climate change on the Flathead Reservation. Mike said he supplies stainless steel water bottles that are reusable and washable. He also installed numerous refill stations throughout the Flathead Reservation in different locations. Supplying people with filters and incentives for using reusable shopping bags, and also being able to find a way to have people have filters in their homes are proactive measures everyone can take. Creating a game or repurposing plastic water bottles into various activities is a creative and eco-friendly way to contribute to environmental sustainability. Here are several game ideas and activities that utilize plastic water bottles. Cherry blossom art, bowling alley, a water bottle rocket launcher, ring toss, plant watering systems, or you can create a new project on your own. I tried the cherry blossom painting using the bottom of water bottles on the left, and on the right is another picture that this project inspired me to paint about the gas emissions in the air and using reusable bottles. I also wanted to share an amends letter I wrote to the 7th generation, and I'll share that with you now while sharing pictures that I took. Dear 7th generation, I write to you as a Native American woman, a steward to the earth, and a keeper of wisdom passed down through the generations. I hold in my heart the deep connection we share with Mother Earth, the spirits of our ancestors, and the responsibility we carry for the well-being of all living beings. In our time, we have witnessed a profound shift in the way we interact with the world around us. Among many changes, there's a tale of substance called plastic, a material born of convenience but bearing consequences that ripple across the lands, the water, and the very air we breathe. The plastic water bottles, once hailed for their convenience, have become harbingers of change that transcend the boundaries of our immediate lives. Their effects on the climate, our people, and our fellow creatures are profound and demand our attention. The climate, once in harmony with the natural cycles, now bears witness to the consequences of our reliance on plastic. Our reliance on plastic. These bottles born from the depths of the earth now contribute to the warming of our planet. The extraction of the raw materials and the production process itself release harmful emissions, disrupting the delicate balance that has sustained life for eons. Our people too feel the impact, from the communities where the raw materials are sourced to those where the waste accumulates. The burden is not evenly distributed. Indigenous communities in particular bear the weight of environmental degradation. Our lands are sacred, our waters are tainted. The pursuit of convenience has inadvertently deepened disparities among our people. Animals, our fellow inhabitants of the sacred lands, suffer silently. The oceans, once teeming with life, now host islands of plastic waste that disrupt the delicate ecosystems. Birds, fish, and mammals fall victim to the lure of brightly colored bottles, mistaking them for sustenance. The interconnected web of life, woven by the Creator, it's unraveling, and we must acknowledge our part in this unraveling. For these consequences, I extend my deepest apologies to you. My descendants of the seventh generation, I apologize for the short-sightedness of our actions, for prioritizing convenience over the sacred balance of all life. As stewards of the earth, we must learn from our mistakes and strive to restore the balance that has sustained us for centuries. Overall, this planning represents an ongoing, evolving, adaptive management process. Implementation planning, which determines the tasks to be completed, resources needed, responsible parties, collaborations, and evaluation measures needed to fulfill the goals, is the next step in improving the tribal community and its land's resiliency to the impacts of climate change. Sincerely, Cherish Grassrope. Thank you for your time.